All right, I did not do an intro for this video, so we're doing an intro post. I don't even know where to look doing it like this, but yeah, we're gonna go walk the creek right here. We're gonna go walk it up, so stay tuned for that. You'll see what happened in the past, but yeah, we're gonna go. Stay tuned to see what I found walking this creek a couple times. All right, walking a creek bed here. Got ourselves maybe a bromo. Yeah, it's gonna be a bromo seltzer. Look at that. All right, let me get it out. Looks like a big one. Be back. There it is. It's whole. Bromo seltzer, Baltimore, Maryland. There might be another one right down there, so we're gonna poke around for a bit. All right, I think we got a storm rolling in, but as I'm trying to get this out, something else exposed. So yeah, found a nice little spot. Stay tuned. All right, I got it out. I think it says 1 quart on it. Yeah, 1 quart. Some sort of alcohol. We gotta get the second one still in there. We'll be back. All right, just a cup. I don't really keep cups, so we'll leave that and see if there's anything else left in this little hole, and then keep on walking down the layer. All right, continuing up the creek, and we got some sort of, I don't know, tape measure, ruler. But yeah, you can see. So yeah, we'll take this home, just literally walking and just digging random spots. So yeah, we'll take it. All right, look at that. All I saw was the neck sticking out about like this. I don't know what it says exactly, but I just found a broken piece that had that in it. So I can't believe I just found a complete one. Looks like it's gonna be local too. Awesome, let me clean it up. Here's that broken piece of this bottle that I just found. So yeah, unbelievable. And it's very local. Just a couple towns over, Teaneck, New Jersey. WM something. All right, we're back on the creek after another storm a couple of days, or weeks ago at this point. Had a jar there. Let's see. All right, there it is. It looks like it says F.H. Roberts Co., Boston, Mass. It's a cool little jar, so we'll take that because it has a name. It looks like there would have been a label right there in that little rectangle spot, but yeah, we'll do some research. All right, that just rolled out of right there. I think it's like a John Wymath. It's like a dosing cup. But yeah, that's really cool. That's awesome. We're gonna keep that. All right, it says this cup holds a heaping dessert spoonful. And then it has 1 through 12 on the side. I don't know where this is from. This is sweet. We're gonna have to do some research on that. All right, came to the spot where I found some stuff before. Finally got a whole bottle. We finally dug out this pit. Going back, we got something. It looks like it says F. Brown's something Philadelphia. But hey, something embossed. We'll take it. All right, it's getting dark, but do we have another whole one? I think we do. Might be slick. But we finally got onto some old bottles, some whole bottles in this little hole. All right, let me get back to it before it gets too dark. All right, we got bad lighting, but we're heading out. Looks like it says F. Brown's Essence of Jamaica Ginger, Philadelphia. Very cool, we'll do some research. All right, everyone, welcome back to another wrap up. As always, in some of my videos, apologies if you hear traffic or, trucks, cars, beeping, air conditioning, stuff like that. I am, as you see, outside on my porch. It's a beautiful late summer, early fall evening. It did warm up here in the Northeast, but enough about that. Let's get to the wrap up here. As you saw, this was a creek walk. It was multiple times, 2, 3, 4 times that I went. As you see, there's a huge ash layer along this little creek by me, which is the same creek that's right here. But yeah, there's an ash layer, which means, trash. People put stuff there. I don't know if the city put stuff there and pushed it there, or they burned it, or they obviously burned it. But whatever it is, I don't know how it ended up there. The homes are kind of far on both sides. But anyways, yeah, big ash layer along the creek. Just follow that along. Every time it rains, I try and go back. That's where I found some of it. And then the majority of the stuff, I think I've discovered more of a trash dump. Like not a burn pit, more of like a trash dump where it's actually just trash rather than ash and coal and all that stuff that was a little farther down the creek. This is more bottles and metal stuff. So yeah, let's just get to the wrap up. We'll start off down here with the porcelain stuff. These are just 2 buttons. I'm not sure what they're made out of. Like I said, I don't know if it's porcelain. I think it's pre-plastic, but yeah. And we have a nice stopper. This would have had a wire swing. It would have sat into the, would have had a rubber little stopper gasket right there, and it would have sat in the bottle top. It was connected, I believe, to a blob top even, or maybe a pontil top. So older bottle than everything that we see here. So that was reassuring to find. And then we have this makeup compact. See, it says COTY, hard to see, but that's what it says. It is Francois Coty. Invented and started in 1904 in Paris, and it was a beauty company. Still is around under different names, different subsidiaries. It was bought out, sold. Excuse me, bought out, sold a handful of times. But yeah, I don't think it's from 1904, but I think everything's dating to the early 1900s, maybe late 1800s, early 19-teens to maybe the 30s. I'll explain how I know all of that. So yeah, makes sense for the time. This is a slick, I guess we'll just continue going up, and it actually helps because this is all found, I'll tell you when we get to the ash layer. So this was all found in one spot, what I believe is more of a trash pit rather than a dump or something like that. Yeah, so smaller, no ash. This is just trash. We'll let this motorcycle go by. 2 motorcycles go by. But yeah, so this is all stuff that is not in an ash layer. It's more of in a trash dump. Anyways, yeah, this is a slick cork top. It's got nice iridescence on it in the good light. No embossing, no markings on that. Like I said, slick. And then we have this nice right here, F. Brown's, what it said, Essence of Jamaica Ginger, Philadelphia. And this is, I guess, what they call kind of like snake oil. And Jamaica ginger back then was known as Jake. It was started by Frederick Brown, mid 1800s, and it was defunct probably in the 1920s when Prohibition came around. So this ties into how I know how to date the end of the item, but let that go. Let me move this over for a second. I'll explain why. But yeah, this I think ended when Prohibition came around. So because most of the contents in this was alcohol, and it was a cheap way to get alcohol and a way to get alcohol. So it was obviously disbanded when the Prohibition came around. So that explains that. And then we'll move up to this. This is very interesting. If you see here, it says, I didn't clean this one as well as the other ones yet. It says F.H. Roberts Co., Boston, Mass. And this was a candy maker, confectioner, started by Fred Roberts in the early 1900s. And from what I saw, only one place mentioned it ended in the teens. So that also ties into these items, all dating to the late 1800s, early 1900s. Pretty cool. And they were known for their Apollo chocolate. I think it's something to do with marshmallows, stuff like that. And it is a 12-sided jar. It would have probably had a paper label right there in that rectangle. And then not too far down from where I found all these things, if you watched the previous Creek video, I found that blue bottle from, what was it, West Hoboken or something. So basically the same spot. This says WMF Brarman, Teaneck, New Jersey. So this is even more local. I don't know, 5-10 minutes away. And his was William Brarman, or Brarman, however you pronounce it. His son did own a tavern. I was able to find one source online that mentioned that they did bottle stuff. So owning a tavern, bottling stuff makes sense. And then also when Prohibition came around, it kind of was defunct. So this probably dates to the early teens, 20s. And then this is from the ash layer, is this giant whiskey, 1-quart whiskey. Yeah, just a nice giant whiskey. Bromo Seltzer was in the ash layer. Always like finding Cobalt Blue. Bromo Seltzer started in Baltimore, Maryland. in the late 1880s by Isaac Emerson. It was an antacid, kind of like a Pepto-Bismol, stuff like that. A lot of the original ingredients were toxic and poisonous, so I think now they said it's just aspirin with sodium bicarbonate and citric acid. So it's just basically something to help you feel better with the painkillers, and then just to make you bubble, stomach bubble, that effervescence feeling. And if you go to Baltimore, if you know anything about Bromo, they're known for their tower. In 1911, there was a tower built with clocks on all four sides, and it's still standing today. I would like to go see that, considering my mom is from Baltimore, and I found a ton of Bromos, and Bromos are a classic find. And then we'll stick with the Cobalt. It's going to be hard to see with no light, but it says this cup holds a heaping dessert spoonful. So this would have went to not this actually, obviously. It looks like it does with the color, but the top does not fit. It would have went to a square bottle, rectangular bottle with a more a narrow top. It would have been made by John Wyeth and Brothers, or John Wyeth and Brothers. Started, excuse me, in the 1860s in Philadelphia, and the bottle was patented. If you look on the bottom, I actually have one in my room. I should have brought out. I found a couple of those over the years. Maybe I'll include a picture. In the clips previous, so you would have already seen that bottle. But yeah, it was patented 1899. It looks like they were, I think, bought out or sold in 1932. Again, all makes sense with the dates. And yeah, it is an eye wash. So this is how you would dose eye wash. I don't understand exactly why eye washing was so almost common back then, because the John Wyeth bottles and these cups, I found, I think, 4, and I've seen a ton of them, and they're not that expensive. So I don't know if people were getting more dust in their eyes or who knows what, but yeah, a lot of eye washing going on back then. And I guess the cool find, the most unique find of the day, let's see if I can do this carefully. I'm gonna leave it here. So I saw this piece of metal, I didn't think of it, then I looked and it had writing and numbers and stuff, and if you look here, it's gonna be hard to see, but it says what's his name? Sorry. What's his name? Tagliabue. So Giuseppe Tagliabue, and then it has a New York City address, Manhattan address, and he was obviously Italian, and I think it is a hydrometer for measuring alcohol content in water for brewing, I believe. But him and his family were known for thermometer making and other measuring tools. And then I believe his son Charles took over in the late 1800s. But it has G rather than CJ, which were the initials of his son. So I don't know how old exactly. They could have kept the father's name, obviously. But I did read online that the father did have this address in the late 1800s. So pretty cool if it does date that early. But I'm gonna try and clean it up with some lemon juice, maybe, just to clean up this, because I would like to be able to read it a little better, but you can see it is in bad shape. But yeah, apologies if you didn't watch. This is a long wrap-up video, but a lot of cool finds, more than I was expecting. I don't always expect to find things, but with a little perseverance and time, you usually find a couple things. As always, thanks for watching. Check down below for some links for a shovel, sand scoop, for CKG, and some of my finds do end up on my Etsy shop. Like this bottle right here is on my Etsy shop as we speak. And if you can, please like, comment, subscribe, and when you're out there, pick up some trash. Beep, beep.